Okay, so the four types of elasticity is the demand elasticity, income elasticity, cross price elasticity, and supply elasticity. Now, I don't usually go over supply elasticity because it's the same thing as demand, it's just quantity supplied. Okay, so inelastic, oh, this is not going to work. Okay, so the characteristics of the inelastic demand, few substitutes, necessities, that's why there's few substitutes, small portion of income required now rather than later. All right, the characteristics, like if I was really just no few substitutes, necessities, and required now rather than later. So the longer you have, the more time you have, the more substitutes you can get, and the more elastic it becomes. Okay, and then the coefficient is less than 1. So if there was one thing on the slide I would definitely remember, it's the coefficient is less than 1. And today in class, we're going to do practice problems on elasticity. Okay, then percentage change in quantity over percentage change in price. Quantity is always on top, price is always on the bottom, or income. Okay. Elastic general characteristics, many substitutes. That's what makes it elastic. That if like soda, if Coke is expensive, I could go and buy Pepsi or any thousands of products. They're luxuries, so I could do without them. Large portion of income and plenty of time. So just remember, like here, again, substitutes and time. Time is a big thing for elasticity. The more time you have, the more substitutes you could find. Coefficient is greater than 1. And again, percentage change in quantity over percentage change in price. I don't know, do I have a slide for this? So if you just could remember, unit elastic is 1. So you have inelastic under 1, elastic greater than 1, and unit elastic 1. Okay. And then while we're talking about elasticity, remember it goes elastic in the middle, unit elastic, and then inelastic on a line. They just seem to love that question. So there, you only got to worry about 29 more multiple choice. I just gave you 1. They're going to give you an elastic, they're going to give you a linear line and ask you elastic, unit elastic. Okay. All right. The next thing that I guarantee there's a question on is this total revenue test. Okay. So total revenue is price times quantity. For elastic, there's an inverse relationship. If price increases, quantity demanded is going to decrease more. So you're going to have an inverse relationship between price and total revenue. And inelastic good, if price increases, quantity demand goes down a little, so price times quantity, total revenue goes up. Now, for the inelastic, I think like an I. Both are going in the same direction. I for inelastic, direct correlation between total revenue and price. And then unit elastic, price could change, but total revenue remains unchanged. And that's because inelastic is 1, so if price goes up 10%, quantity demanded is going to go down 10%. So you can actually be in the same spot. Okay. All right, so you have 3 questions already. One is demand's going to be downward sloping, and they're going to ask you about elastic, inelastic, and unit on the line. And then they're going to give you 2 questions about elasticity and total revenue. All right, we only have 27 more questions to worry about. Man, I made this test easy for you. Okay. What's next up? Take a look at it for a second. Look at the multiple choice here. What's the total revenue at $8? At $4? So it's going to be inelastic. Okay, that's the type of question you could see. Hopefully I get. All right, we don't have to do that. All right, demand defined. What is demand? Demand is the different quantities of goods consumers are willing and able to buy. Did I not do income elasticity across price? All right. Let's just do that then. Sorry. Cross price elasticity. Percentage change. Might be on another slide, but let's just do it. Percentage change of quantity of A over percentage change of price of B. Right. Now we're going to do some plug in the formulas today because I throw some on the test. It's also important for cross price to know positive is a substitute, negative is a complement. Right? Yes.
Is it in the numerator quantity or quantity demand? Or is it
It's to be quantity demand. But they a lot of times in the question, Chris, they just say quantity. So okay. Now giving you 4, right? 2 on total revenue, 1 on the downward sloping. There's definitely 1 that's going to give you like a coefficient and ask you is it a complement or a substitute. All right. And then is income the next? Okay. Income elasticity is percentage change, quantity demanded over percentage change in income. Okay. And this, by the way, more people ask that this is normal, is positive, and negative is inferior. Okay. That's right.
what's different?
Yeah, I was just going to do that because that was asked a lot yesterday. A normal good is income and demand go in the same direction. Income up, demand shifts out, shifts right. Income down, demand down. An inferior good is an inverse relationship. Income up, demand down. Is that what you needed? Yeah. We're at demand, Parker. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now, yes, sir.
Is it when income is up and demand stays the same?
No, there is none. So it's either going to go up and down. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, here they do ask. I don't say they ask you for the definition of demand lot. They definitely ask about the law of demand. And the law of demand is just an inverse relationship between price and quantity. Now, they might not ask it like that. They might have the price of corn goes up, quantity demand goes down. That is an example of A, the law of demand, B, the law of supply, things like that. But boom, I know there's a question of the law of demand there. So no, there's an inverse relationship between price and quantity. Okay, these are the ones we got to get right, because there are hard ones, but these are kind of a little easier. Huh? We're good? Yep. All right. Plenty of time, don't worry. Inverse relationship. All right, now why does the law of demand exist? There's three reasons: the substitution effect, the income effect, and the law of diminishing marginal utility. And I'll go over each one of these three reasons. Okay. So the substitution effect, that one I think you guys know. If price goes up for a product, the consumer's going to buy less Coke and more Pepsi. All right. So the substitution effect is if the price goes up for a product, you're going to buy less of that and more of the other. And obviously the other thing, if price goes down for Pepsi, you're going to buy more Pepsi and less Coke. Market guarantee question on one of these three. Okay. So I put a star next to it because I know this could be a question. Income effect, if the price goes down, your purchasing power increases. So if Coke's $1 a can and I have $10, I could buy 10 Cokes. But if it goes to 50 cents, I can now buy 20 Cokes. So it's not about income, the income effect, it's about purchasing power. I think they like testing that because it's kind of tricky. Yes, sir.
So if price went up for a product, would your purchasing power decrease?
Correct.
Okay.
And just think of it, right, Kristen, if I could buy 10 Cokes with $10, if Coke goes to $2, I can only buy 5.
And for the substitution, could you say that when the price goes up for one product, the demand goes up for another?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Does the whole McDonald's example come into play? Like, let's say my income goes down,
That's inferior in normal goods.
very low.
And we're about there. Someone asked that before, but we're gonna get to it again. All right, the law of diminishing. Remember, utility is satisfaction. Utility and benefit is the same. And all this is saying is, the more you buy a product, eventually your satisfaction is gonna go down. I just need to take notes. I think that's okay. Yep. All right. I'll get that in a second. We good on this? Any minute second? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, before we get to this, we've got timer, right? So the shifters of demand, the timer, taste, income, market size, expectations, related goods. Taste, income, market size, expectations, related goods, which are substitutes and complements. They are the only things that could shift the curve from A to C. And complement. Okay. Anything to do with the consumer is a demand shift. All right. Yeah.
Would be an example of like a really good
substitute, like Betsy and Coke.
Oh,
Compliments, hot dogs, and
so it's similar to wholesale stuff.
yeah. All right, then income. I don't know why these things don't have sign. Normal good, demand up, rather income up, demand up. Income down, demand down. So normal good, income up, demand up, income down, demand down. An inferior good, income up, demand down. Income down, demand up. Now, normal and inferior goods are only about income. So sometimes I'll say it's an inferior good and price goes up. Then what happens, an inferior good doesn't matter. Okay, price goes up, quantity demand is going down. If it's an inferior good, normal and inferior goods are only about income. All right, just remember, if you go from A to C, it's a change in demand. It's a shift in demand. It's an increase in demand. When you slide up and down, it's a change in quantity demanded. Okay? Good. We can go through these. Okay. Is there a consumer and producer surplus somewhere? Let me get the shifters to supply first. We don't need to know that anymore, but a given good is if price goes up, demand goes up. No, it would be a lot of times antiques, like people just, all right. So shifters of supply, rat nest. We don't even have to say these, right? But resources. All right. Any input is a resource. Any cost of production is a resource. Trying to think of a different word. Anything that makes things is a resource. Alternative product. It is. Good listen. Okay. So resources, alternative production, technology. Number of sellers. So resources, alternative production. The resources, they ask a lot. Alternative production, technology, number of sellers, expectations. Subsidies and taxes. So resources, alternative product, technology, number of sellers, expectations, subsidies, and tax.
Yes, there ever be a problem where the only shifters have expectations and you wouldn't know whose time or that is?
Yeah, if it's on the producer.
That's like this rule.
Yeah, they'll let you know. Okay. All right, so consumer surplus. Graph, oh, by the way, here's another question. They're gonna ask you a graph and they're gonna ask you like this. Where's consumer surplus and where's producer surplus? Okay. We gotta get that right. Consumer surplus above the price, below demand. Producer surplus below the price, above supply. Consumer surplus above the price, below demand. Producer below the price, above supply. We talked about it, I think, a little in class yesterday, right? Consumer surplus is your benefit, right? What I'm willing to spend minus what I actually spend. So consumer surplus, what I'm willing to spend 10, I spend 5. Willing to spend 8, I spend 5, 6, 5. Producer surplus is what I'm willing to sell it for and what I actually. willing to sell it for 5, 1, sold it for 5, willing to sell it for 2. Okay? Don't want to change. Because sometimes you want to change the section. All right. This price ceiling is the next thing. Yeah. Binding, where does the ceiling have to be? Below. Okay. So it got to be below. I don't think you have to memorize this, but no, below is going to be a shortage. Why? I'm demanding 50. I only have 20. 50 minus 20. My shortage is 30. If the ceiling is above, what's going to happen to price and equilibrium? It's going to what? So it's going to stay, right? So if the ceiling was at 4, it's non-binding. So it's just like it's not there. Just almost erase it, okay? All right. Now I'm going to do a price floor. Okay. Upside down house, the floor has to be above. Again, I wouldn't memorize it, but I would know it's going to be a surplus. I'm supplying 40. Now, if they give you an upside down house minimum wage floor, just remember supply is the workers. That's how many people want to work. Demand is how many people are working.
Demand is how many people are working.
Yeah.
Supply is how many people want to work.
Yes. So you're gonna have a surplus of workers.
You think of demand as like the number of job opportunities? As well?
No, it's the number of people hired. Supply is the number of people who want to work. So demand is terms hiring.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it was clear.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, now I'm just going to put in consumer and producer surplus, which you should know because you just took the quiz. All right, so here is the first thing. If I'm putting in a binding floor, I'm going to draw this line down. Why? Because it gives me right away my dead weight loss. Consumer surplus above, producer this whole area. Okay. You guys do this?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to flip the floor into a ceiling. I'll hold it. No, we're not. I'll flip it into a ceiling. Okay. You don't have to be there to be binding. Okay. So again, if it's below the equilibrium, the first thing I'm going to do is where it hits, I'm going to draw up and down because that gives me my dead weight loss. Consumer surplus above the price, below demand, producer surplus below price, above supply. Okay. Are you here just for general knowledge, or do you need it?
Love a good dead weight loss.
Okay, let's see. We got 2 more things, I think. All right, excise tax. Got some more dead weight loss coming up. All right. Now, here's a question that really, I think, gets students confused is when they give you this and they ask you how big the tax is. Remember, the tax is from the the new equilibrium down to the old supply curve. So it's 4 minus 2, so it's a $2 tax. Don't go from equilibrium to equilibrium. That's only how much the consumer is paying in the tax. All right, so Parker, it's from the new equilibrium to the old supply curve. All right, so the tax is $2. Aaron, what were the consumers paying before the tax? How much are they paying now? No, consumers. 4. So they paid $1 of the tax. The tax is totaled 2. Consumers paid $1 and the producers paid the other $1. Okay. So that's kind of like, to me, what tricks the students the most is how much the tax is. Usually you could figure out how much the consumer is. Okay. Now, anytime I saw this excise tax, one thing I would do also. This line, I would take it, I would just draw this in. What does this box represent? That's the tax revenue, right? Above the price, below demand. And then you got your producer down here, okay? This is also the price the producers now get, right? Even though they're charging 4, they got to send $2, right? To the government for taxes, so they're really only getting 2. I guarantee you there's a multiple choice question like this on the test, asking you about the tax and the taxes. All right, we're good there? Nice. Modern technology here at Calvert Hall. Okay. Oh, let me get back. All right. So Matt, is there a spot for the maximum utility? All right. So just remember, we did this a little yesterday in practice. Anytime you see maximum utility, it's the MUX over PX. So the marginal utility or marginal benefit over X over the price of X equals the marginal utility of Y over the price of Y. Now, sometimes they'll give you the marginal utility is 60, the price is 2, the marginal utility is 40, the price is 1. So you get like 30 equals 40, but it doesn't equal. You always want to increase the bigger numbers, right? Because if you're increasing the bigger number, the utility will come down. So you want to increase this and decrease that, and then they'll meet. Right? Last thing, double shifters. And I might not have put a space there. How do you handle double shifters? 2 graphs. What has to happen if there's a double shift? What is price? One has to be indeterminate. So if you see a double shifter, and sometimes, all right, in this question, at the same time is a key that it's going to be a double shifter. Simultaneously, okay? Anytime you see a double shifter, you know one of them has to be indeterminate. Now, Parker, sometimes they'll say if demand for automobiles increases, so I'm going to just do this quickly, right? Price goes up, quantity goes up, right? And there's an increase in technology. What is that, Bishop Parker? Supply. Good job. So that's price down, quantity up. They might just ask, what happens to quantity? Well, quantity will go up. Price could be indeterminate. Okay. All right. Any questions on anything?
Can you look at merge on maximum utility again?
Yeah.
Like the 30 and the 40 want to increase.
Yeah. You always want to increase the bigger number.
Why would you increase the bigger number?
Because say it's apples, right? As you eat more and more apples, what's gonna happen to your satisfaction? Right, so this 40 is gonna become smaller and get closer to the 30 you're trying to equal out. Okay? Anyone else? You guys good? All right. I will see you later. Thank you.